Hello and welcome to SatoshiConomy, honest global crypto news and info. Today I'll be discussing cryptos and currency. And I'm going to bring up three main subjects. What is currency? How the world is going digital currency, and how you can create your own currency, or how you can prosper from the changes that are going on. And at the end of the video, I'll bring up three additional resources for you for great further research. A story about currency. When I was a child, my dad taught me about money, and one thing that he did is he gave us $1. He gave all the kids $1, and then a week later we would have to sit with them individually at the dining room table, and he would simply ask, "What'd you do with it?" And it was, to this day, when I recall it, it was a very frustrating experience, because I could never account for the money. I could account for some of it, but I could never account for all of it. And it was negative for me because my dad was quite disenchanted with me never being able to account for all of it. He was trying to teach me a powerful concept of control of your money, simply keep track of it. And it's one thing that really, to this day, I really now I appreciate much more, and it's probably a prime reason why I'm interested in digital or distributed ledger technology and blockchain technology and the cryptos, because it's a very unique form of money, and it affords individuals speed and pseudonymity, privacy. It's censorship resistant, and there's just a lot of other benefits. Earlier this week, I sat down with a young man and just tried to help him with a difficult situation he was facing financially. And what we did was just took a piece of paper and drew a line down the middle of it, and one side was income and one side was outgo. And I just share with them a reminder of a very powerful concept. And it just has to do with there's two things that you can do to increase or empower yourself financially: either diminish or limit the expenses or increase the income. It's simply a matter of that. Now, the quickest, simplest, most painless, and probably the most powerful way to sway the scales in your favor is to limit your expenses. And the hack is that you just keep track very close of all of your expenses on a daily basis, and then at the end of the month you go back, you take a look, and you'll see that it flows into 5 or 6 main areas, and you'll be able to identify one and possibly 2 areas that you could cut back in. And the reason primarily why that's so powerful is because it doesn't take time, in the sense of you just change your discipline or make choices, and you change your behavior. You just limit the number of times you eat at the restaurant, or how much money you're spending on clothing, or you get the idea. Conversely, to increase your income, of course, typically that involves say punching a clock, spending, trading hours for money, or stepping out to the garage and picking a few things that you haven't used for a while, and putting it on some website for sale, and that involves taking pictures, posting, writing a description, answering messages. You get the idea. It takes time. So just as a foundational or cornerstone way of increasing the power of your own personal finances, it's a very simple way to do that, is just limit your expenses. then you'll have more money to stack up or save, and then make decisions on where you want to put that to grow. As far as cryptos and currency, just to discuss our own, I want to encourage all of us to consider and contemplate your own personal currency. The word currency has its derivatives is found in medieval times. The word was currentia, and it's a reference, or it really means movement or hurrying or traveling. And that's interesting because in today's definition, you'll find that one of the primary dynamics or characteristics of currency is circulation. It's a means of exchange for goods and services, but it really has to do with, inside of an economy and circulation. There's an economic metric that's known as velocity of money, and it's a metric to really indicate the health and vitality of a particular economy. Say you go in and spend $1 on a donut at the bakery. Well, the baker goes to the store and buys more flour, and then that merchant maybe goes to the hardware store to purchase a tool to fix a machine that he has, and the hardware store may purchase a gallon of gas. And just the estimation or the data that you can get on that, how long does that take? Does it take a day or a week? And it gives an indication of how healthy an economy is based on how quickly that takes place. So, as far as the world, how it's changing its currency, it is really going digital. I mean, as a matter of fact, most money is digital now. As far as actual greenbacks, or M1 they call it, money you can put in your hand, there's, I think, only about $1 trillion or 1.2 trillion on Earth as far as dollars, and most of the dollars are outside of America. In America alone, I read one report that estimates it between 5 and 600 billion dollars only. I heard one hecto-millionaire went into the bank and says, hey, just as a test, he said, I want $1 million in cash, and there's no way that he could do that, and I think it might have taken him a couple of weeks. He went through with it, but they really don't keep a lot of cash on hand. So one reality is that currency and cash currency is digital. It's all just ones and zeros on a ledger. And when banks can have $1 million in their actual reserves, cash reserves, they can lend out 10 million. And so then it creates 9 million out of thin air, and it enables them to charge interest. Instead of just on $1 million, they can charge interest on 10 million. And as far as currency is concerned, or the flow of the economy, when you think this through, say they have a bad debt, say they had a $100,000 loan on the house, and the person kind of quit paying after they paid $20,000 of it. Well, they've still made a profit, and then they go and sell that $80,000 debt to a factoring company for 10 to 20 cents on the dollar, and they still add to their profit doing that. We don't learn these things in school, and so just to understand and realize that these shenanigans or these types of things are going on, we don't have to feel bad for the banks. They've already made their money. So that as far as currency going digital, the actual cryptocurrency market did reach close to $1 trillion. It did reach an estimated value, 833 billion, during 2018, and now it's dropped way down to below 100 billion at one point. So it as a whole dropped like 85%. Many popular or long-standing cryptos dropped 90%. But you can really prosper from these kinds of times. The sole reason why cryptos came into existence is because of there was just a need for a change in really a Ponzi type scheme of money and dollars and currencies being created when they're not backed by any precious metals or anything whatsoever. They're just issued into existence, creating debt. And the end game of that, and the game theory says that that won't go on forever. And we're seeing some tumult beginning to grow louder and louder. We're going into 2019 with the December of 2018 being the worst performing month, or the worst performing December in stock market history since 1931. That's the worst December in 87 years. So a big reason why I'm doing this video is to call out people to wake up and to consider and to create their own personal economy, or to be aware and awake about their own personal economy and direct the flow of their own currency. A way that you can do that is to hedge. What happened in 1929, there was about an 88% drop in the market, and how people became rich was from the transfer of wealth. For people to be able to sell relatively high and sell relatively high and then buy relatively low, that is where the wealth is transferred. And what we're seeing right now, not in the mainstream, lamestream, CNLSD media, but there is a transfer of wealth that is happening right now. And much of the money from stock markets at times it has flowed directly into the crypto market, and there's going to be more and more of that happening with bankers being called to account, with the global citizenry waking up as a whole, and with even now sovereign nations are using cryptocurrencies as a hedge, or as a strategy play against volatility in their own currencies, and as a hedge against civil unrest even, or political uncertainty. So just great encouragement. There's things that you can do to personally to, there's not a need for fear here. What there's a need for is for a plan. And there's a great opportunity to participate in the wealth transfer and to come out of this way ahead of the game. So I'd just like to refer you to 3 additional resources for great additional research. There's a great website called trendsresearch.com, TRENDS research.com, headed up by a gentleman named Gerald Salente. He's very well connected. I understand he's been close to cabinet members and presidents, and the logo or the byline on his website is Tomorrow's News Today. I really like that. Another great site is FEE.org. It stands for Foundation for Economic Education. It's been around for over 70 years. There's some phenomenal, long-standing, great cornerstone information there, and there's links to other resources there. Also, portfoliowealth.com. They have a YouTube channel also. I'm sure you can find that by going youtube.com/portfolio wealth global. Smash it! Because that'll help to get the word out. And at SatoshiConomy, what's most important is the message. So I just want to encourage you with considering your own currency. And until next time, peace.